So after Luther, we have Vin between good and evil. Oh my god, I'm so freaking excited. Why do I do back to back? Because I need those baskets. I need my spectacles. Where are my spectacles? Where are my spectacles? Where are my spectacles at? Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, let's go. Vin's residence. Vin's usually clean kitchen counter is currently covered in flour. Your chest tightens as you look at the malformed strings of toes sitting in front of you. Are you trying to cook, Rosa? I fell again. There's not much time left. Can you really learn how to make handmade noodles in just a week?
焦りは禁物だよ。一度休憩を挟んで、それから再開しようか。
But I have to learn it as soon as possible. Vin grabs your hand and gently presses his thin fingers into your palm. Oh. Due to the extensive practice of making noodles, your palm has begun to feel extremely sore.
ひとまず今は休憩しよう。でないと、僕はあなたを助手から外すしかなくなるよ。
Okay. You put down the rolling pin as you look at the difference between the two piles of handmade noodle. One looks even and thin throughout, beautifully shaped. The other uneven and stuck in a ball. It's the first time for both of us. How are the results so different? I just can't compete with the likes of Dr. Richter. If there were tags for intelligence, I probably have just made it into the first tax bracket.
ずっと黙っているけど、もしかしてこっそり僕のコメントをしてたりするのかな？
No, I mean, I was just thinking about how amazing you are. You did so well even though it's your first time making handmade noodle.
褒めてくれてありがとうと言いたいところだけど、僕はこれが初めてじゃないんだ。
It's not, huh? Have you had similar experience when making desserts before?
それもあるけど、実を言うとここ最近僕はずっと手打ちうどん作りの練習をしてたんだ。
Vin faintly smiles as he looks at your confused expression. He seems to want to laugh after looking at your questionable ball of dough.
思い返せば、僕も最初はよく失敗を繰り返していたよ。生地に穴を開けたり、薄く伸ばしすぎたり、切るときに麺をくっつけてしまったり。それはもう自分でも笑ってしまうほどに悲惨な光景だったよ。でも、ある一人の女性にとって、僕はいつでも完璧で頼れる人間でいたいし、困った時に真っ先に思い浮かぶ存在でありたい。だから頑張って予習をしたんだ。でも彼女の中の自分が完璧すぎて逆に距離を感じさせてしまったら、それはそれで本末転倒だけどね。僕はあなたにとって頼りになる、親しみやすいお友達でありたいんだ。僕は一歩近づけたかな？
His voice deepens as if he's trying to sneak his way into your heart and stir up the unknown emotion. You meet his gaze and your reflection in his golden eyes. You feel as if your brain has been paralyzed. You place your hands over your cheek in an attempt to hide the burning redness and try to snap out of it. A few seconds later, you realize that your hands were full of flour from what you were doing before. I'm gonna go wash my face. You frantically make your escape from that pair of golden eyes. The story of learning how to make handmade noodles with Vin starts from a week ago. Cultural Saloon.
また同じ講座を受講するなんて奇遇ですね。僕たち趣味が合いそうですし、よければ連絡先の交換でもしませんか？
No, sorry. You continue the awkward conversation with the man in front of you for a full 10 minutes while holding the Reveal Ancient European Magic Culture promotional bag. He does not seem to be giving up at all. He's flirting with me.
僕は怪しいものなんかじゃありませんよ。こう見えても僕はこの近くの大手企業で役員をしているんです。
You are certainly great, but Just as you try to find a way to kindly reject him, you suddenly hear a familiar voice.
お待たせ。
It's Vin. You turn around to see him smiling gently at you as he puts his hand around your shoulder as if it was the most natural thing to do. His palm was slightly lifted so only his fingers touched your shoulder. However, to the outsiders, the both of you appear incredibly intimate.
待たせてごめんね。駐車場がなかなか開かなくて。
Vin looks at the man after having explained the situation to you, the smile on his face unfaltering.
すみません。何かご用ですか？
あ、こちらの方の彼氏さんですかね。失礼しました。
The male student let laugh awkwardly. Whatever. The male student let laugh awkwardly before running away. Vin then let go of your shoulder.
いきなりすまなかったね。今の状況ではこれが一番手っ取り早そうだったから。
I know, it's alright. You nod quickly, masking the panic in your chest. What are you doing here, Dr. Richter?
僕は本を買いに来たんだよ。
Vin glances over at the Reveal Ancient European Magic Culture promotional bag in your arms. I saw this seminar online. They revealed the truth about magic and you can even experience casting a spell. It looked interesting, so here I am.
なるほど。でもここの講座で聞けるのはあくまで一般的な知識だけだと思うよ。ヨーロッパの歴史と魔術文化についてなら僕も触れたことがあるから。
Of course you are.
もし興味があるのなら教えてあげようか。
No need. You quickly try to explain after seeing the shocked and disappointed look on Vin's face. I'm not doubting your abilities. You are the most capable person I've ever met. You really are an expert at everything. There is no better teacher when it comes to culture but you.
なら、どうして断ったんだい？
I just feel that I've bothered you way too much with my work alone. You have to run a research center, handle patient appointments, and lecture at the university. You're already so busy. Wanting to understand the science behind magic is just a sudden whim of mine. Besides, I often lost interest after a brief period of enthusiasm. I can't be bothering you with something as trivial as that.
どうやら少しやりすぎてしまったようだね。
Huh?
あなたにとって僕は常に完璧で頼れる人間でいたいし、困ってる時に一番に思い浮かぶ存在でありたい。けれどその完璧さも行き過ぎれば反対に近寄りがたい印象を与えてしまう。
Vince sounds serious yet at a loss. He watches you, his tone gentle yet leaving no room for discussion.
あなたに心苦しさを感じさせてしまったのなら、それは僕にも原因があるね。
だけど一つだけいいかな。あなたに関することなら何であろうと僕は迷惑だなんて思わないから。だからヨーロッパの魔術に興味があるのならいつでも聞いて。僕はあなたにとって頼りになる親しみやすいお友達でありたいんだ。
Vin puts an emphasis on close friend. He was serious. You'd make him sad if you keep trying to be courteous. You nod your head. Alright then, I'm leaving it all to you. How about I treat you to dinner tonight as tuition for the lectures?
そこまでしなくてもいいのに。でもあなたがそう言ってくれるのなら僕もお言葉に甘えるとしようかな。
What type of food do you like, Dr. Richter? Vin looks at you with satisfaction brimming in his golden eyes.
前回一緒に食事をした時もそうだったけど、あなたはいつも僕の好みに合わせようとしてくれるね。
I just can't decide. No, I'm actually not very good at ordering food. I can never make up my mind. Plus, you're always able to pick out amazing restaurants with your great taste.
なるほど。そう言ってもらえて嬉しいよ。なら今回もあなたの期待に応えられるよう頑張らないとね。
Next act. Vince's residence. You arrive at Vince's place as agreed the day after. Dr. Richter, what type of ancient European magic are we going to be looking at today?
高齢術だよ。
Spiritism?
高齢術は19世紀フランスの心霊術研究家アーラン・カルテックが作り上げたと言われているけど、その起源はもっと古い。例えば古代ペルシャ、古代ギリシャ、古代ローマと中世紀ではそれにまつわる伝説が多いんだ。あくまで雑学としてだけど、僕はヨーロッパにいた頃そのような歴史を勉強していたんだ。
I see.
ところであなたは魂が存在していると思いますか？
A materialist? I'm a materialist. Besides, science hasn't been able to prove the existence of souls.
だけどそれは魂が存在しないという証明にはならない。一般的に知られていることだけが必ずしも真理とは限らない。そうは思わないかい？
Vince's words were steady and powerful, his eyes convincing. You are almost tempted to ask him if he was a psychic himself. I think Dr. Richter is just trying to create a mysterious atmosphere. I must believe in science. Vin can see what you are thinking just by reading the expression on your face. He faintly smiles.
言葉だけだと信じてもらえないよね。それでは見せてあげるよ。僕の高齢術を。
Vin takes out his cell phone and gently taps on it. The smart home system closes the curtains and shuts off the lights in the living room. The room was thrown into darkness.
心配しないで。危ないことは何もしないから。
Through the darkness, his light voice sounds like ripples from a distant lake. I know, I'm fine. A spark appears in the darkness. 5 candles light up, shining on a magic circle in front of Vin. A soft and faintly discernible fragrance fills the air as the wavering candlelight dances in the shadows. The soft and elusive fragrance is akin to a single flower blossoming under the moonlight.
古より祀られし者よ。宵闇の名をもって汝に告ぐ。我が領域はいかなる神とて干渉できず、いかなる規則も及ばない。故に 我は命ずる。汝は我を尊び、我に従え。
Vin's voice is cold and distant, much unlike his usual warm tone. With those swaying candlelight, everything becomes even more mysterious. Suddenly, a small but bright flash of lightning erupts from his fingertips, lighting up the crystal ball as more from within. The lightning in the crystal ball spark in the direction of Vin's finger. They converge, increasing in number before finally exploding into colorful strobes of light. Vin looks up towards you, light and shadows obscuring his eyes.
こちらにおいで。
He calls for your name. You can feel an invisible yet compelling force drawing you towards him.
水晶玉の上に手を置いてごらん。
As you place your hand on the crystal ball, the lightning inside furiously twirls around your hand, making the thin glass look extremely fragile to the touch. He raises his hand and draws a pentagram on your forehead.
今この瞬間をもって汝の心、体、そして魂はその全てが我のものとなる。魂が消えない限り契約が失われることはない。
His voice is cool and powerful in the darkness, like an irrefutable command. It's as if your soul no longer belonged to you, forever chasing the man before you like moth to a flame. He is the only light in the impenetrable darkness. You were still faced even after the curtains reopened.
どうやら僕の魔術は成功したみたいだね。
That's amazing! How did you do that? Vin takes off the glove from his hand.
この手袋はマジック手袋といって炎を灯す時に使ったんだ。それから例の稲妻もテスラコイルとプラズマボールで生成されたものだよ。
Vin touches the crystal ball in front of him. Lightning appears when he puts his fingers. He then shows you the hidden Tesla coil.
原理は簡単だけど、これらの道具の取り扱いには十分注意しないといけない。それさえできれば、あとは少しの小道具と目くらましの技術で安全に魔術を完成させられる。
I see. You knew that this was all a trick before it had even begun, but he almost had you fooled. Dr. Richter, your performance was amazing. If you didn't break it all down, I might have believed that spiritism actually exists.
ということは、つまり、僕はよその魔術師よりも優れていたと、そう思っていいのかな？
Is Vin still bothered by you going to someone else's magic seminar instead of going straight to him? I never thought that Dr. Richter could be this cute. Of course, Of course, I remember nothing of them. This is all I'm interested in now. Can you teach it to me, please?
もちろんいいよ。ならまずはこの手袋をつけてくれるかな？
Vin hands you a pair of white gloves. Suddenly, his phone starts to ring.
僕だね。ちょっと失礼。
Vin takes out his phone and looks at the incoming caller ID.
岩崎さん。
Darius?
すまない。仕事の電話みたいだ。ちょっと失礼するね。
It's okay, just answer it. Vin picks up the call and listens to the other person on the line. His expression growing slightly serious.
わかりました。では自宅でお待ちしております。
Vin hangs up the phone after the brief exchange. He smiles apologetically at you.
何度もすまないね。協力してほしいことがあると岩崎さんにお願いされてしまって。
Don't worry, Dr. Richter. Work is definitely more important. You can teach me magic anytime. I'll be heading home then.
悪いけど少しだけ待ってもらえないかな。あまり時間はかからなそうだから。もちろんあなたさえ良ければだけど。
Next act. Study. Darius arrived shortly after. You were going to go somewhere so the two of them could talk, but Darius calls you over.
先生も同席していただけると助かります。今回の件は法律扶助を提供してくれる弁護士の方が必要になるんです。もしよければその場で今回の依頼を検討していただけると幸いです。
Alright. Darius begins to explain the purpose of his visit. The police had just solved a telephone scam case. The scammers had disguised themselves as the children of the elderly people, claiming that they were in trouble and needed money. The police had already contacted the victims in the case. However, a victim named Lori Riker is a special case. Her daughter died of a sudden illness 2 years ago.
娘を装った同様の手口であれば、順当に考えて高村さんが被害に遭うことはないはずなのですが、犯人は霊媒師であると名乗っていたらしく、高村さんは娘さん、高村由紀さんの魂と交信できると言われたそうです。そして犯人は現世をさまよう由紀さんの暮らしが良くないと、改善させるにはお金が必要だと高村さんを騙し続けていました。娘の死を受け入れきれていなかった高村さんは正常な判断ができず、言われるままにお金を振り込んでしまったようです。
How inhuman of them. They even went after a mother who's lost her daughter.
気持ちはわかるけど、今は落ち着いて。
Vin gently placed a hand on your shoulder.
心配しないで。犯人には必ずしかるべき対価を払ってもらうから。それよりも今は被害者の方が重要かな。
The conviction in Vin's voice settles the simmering anger in you. Inside you nod and calm your turmoil of emotion. So how is Mr. Striker now?
情報によると、娘さんが亡くなって以降、高村さんの容体は悪化の一途をたどっています。医者の話ではもって半年だとか。我々も高村さんの体調を懸念して一時的に真相を伏せている状態です。
なるほど。
You look down at the tablet Darius handed you. It has the case details and hospital reports. Mistress Riker and her husband are middle school teachers. As kind souls, they are loved by their colleagues and students. 20 years ago, her husband died of illness, leaving her to raise Renee alone on her own. Renee graduated with flying colors from Salus University 5 years ago. However, she passed away 2 years ago from a sudden illness. The dossier photos of her husband and daughter are very young and lively, but she herself looked aged and weak. You couldn't help the twinge in your heart. She fell for these lies despite being a teacher. The culprit are using Mrs. Stryker's yearning for her daughter to scam her. The lies aren't just scams, but maybe also a kind of comfort for her. Officer Morgan is right to be concerned. She might not be able to accept the truth of it all. You couldn't help but look towards Vin. At this very moment, you and Darius were both thinking the same thing. This is something only Vin can solve. Vin read through the entire dossier but stopped on Mr. Stryker's pathology report.
高村さんの場合、数回の心理セラピーだけでは改善されないと思います。ですが彼女にはもう長期的な治療を受けてもらう余裕がありません。それと警察側にもカウンセラーの方がいるはずなのに、それでも岩崎さんが僕を訪ねてきたということは、容疑者が尋問を受けている間にも彼女は自分の娘に関する情報を得るため 次々と行動を起こしているのでしょう。
ええ、その通りです。我々が容疑者を逮捕した後、被害者は彼らと連絡が取れなくなったことで精神がとても不安定な状態にあります。よってこれ以上彼女を刺激してはいけないと我々は担当医から指示を受けました。こちらのカウンセラーも彼女との接触を試みましたが改善の兆しは見られず、これ以上の治療が望めない状況となっています。
警察側さえ良ければですが、僕に考えがあります。
Seeing Vince's expression, you suddenly remember the spiritualism performance he just showed you. Does he? Dr. Richter, do you plan on using spiritualism?
その通り。今の状況ではおそらく通常のカウンセリングでは効果が薄いだろうからね。僕が霊媒師を演じ、そしてもう一人の助手に霊と交信できる演技をしてもらう。この間のように僕が降霊術を施し、被害者の娘の魂をその助手に憑依させ、被害者と交流させる。つまりプラシーボ効果と同じ原理です。
Vince's golden eyes look towards you.
ただやり口で言えば詐欺とほとんど変わらない。あなたはどう思う？
These are all just semantics. What's important is that it is effective. Dr. Richter, do you think I can make the cut if you can't find a female actress in time?
ではお願いしようかな。
Vince smiled at you before he turns toward Darius.
岩崎さんはどう思われますか？善意の嘘とはいえ、やり方が少しばかり常軌を逸していますが。
Darius contemplates silently.
今は緊急事態です。治療法と人選に関しては森月先生にお任せします。
ありがとうございます。これで僕らも心置きなく治療を進められます。
Yeah, this one I don't mind because how do I say it, like the woman's dying, so although we lie to her, yeah, she need that comfort. Yeah, I don't care, I don't mind. With Darius' help, the two of you gain access to all personal and video information of Mr. Stryker and Renee. Vin quickly takes note of Renee's movement habits, pet phrases, and how she interacts with Mr. Stryker. With Vin's instructions and a few days of practice, you are now able to mimic and act as Renee. Vin's residence. You should win your performance of being possessed by Renee and gain his approval.
とてもいい演技だよ。これならきっと高村さんにも信じてもらえるだろうね。
He looks up at the clock.
今日はもう遅いから僕が家まで送るよ。
But it's only 8. Let's practice again. You said that I did great, meaning it wasn't perfect. How do I make it better? Besides the acting, is anything else I can do during the spiritualism phase? I don't think I did too well on the details. It could use more work.
けど声がもう枯れているよ。
Sorry, I didn't notice. Will it affect tomorrow's performance? Oh, so.
本当にあなたは高村さんのことで頭がいっぱいみたいだね。
Vin chuckles helplessly and pours a cup of black tea for you.
声だけなら休めば治ると思うから心配しなくても大丈夫だよ。降霊術といってもユキさんを完璧に真似る必要はないんだ。そもそもあなたとユキさんは別人だからね。いくら練習したところで彼女を複製することはできないよ。それにこんな短時間ではたとえプロの役者だったとしても他人の癖を完璧に身につけるのは難しいかな。だからそこまで自分を追い詰めなくてもいいよ。 今の演技でも十分素晴らしいからね。
Thank you, Dr. Richter, but I still hope to be as close to her as I possibly can. You know that Vin is trying to take some pressure off your shoulders, but even if this is a shot in the dark or if it's just a way to comfort her, if my acting is better, it might make Mr. Striker a little happier. So I want to do the best I can.
わかった。
Vin looks at the clock again.
では時間の許す限り、この嘘を少しでも完璧に近づけようか。
Yeah, let's go again. Next act. You and Vin head to Mr. Striker's home the next day. According to the police, Mr. Striker should have been hospitalized, but she'd insisted on going back home. After knocking a few times, staggering steps could be heard from inside the house. The door opens. Mr. Striker stands in the doorway, looking at you confused. Although you saw her photo from the dossier, seeing her full head of white hair in person still makes your chest tighten.
突然お伺いして失礼いたします。折り入って高村さんにお話があってまいりました。まずは自己紹介から。僕は霊媒師をしているもので世界中を旅しています。それで今回もその旅の途中だったのですが、数日前のことです。僕の助手が夢の中で高村由紀という女性に出会いました。
Vin follows the script of the two of you had prepared with a gentle and polite voice. Everything that comes after goes smoothly, just as Vin planned. Laurie's resident. You put your hand on the lightning-filled crystal ball in front of Vin. He raises his hand and draws a pentagram on your forehead.
さあ、あなたの名前を教えてください。
My name is
では、そちらの女性はわかりますか？
ユキ。本当にユキなの？
Mr. Striker did not wait for Vin to finish and ran towards you. She was so excited that she almost fell, but unfortunately, Vin had managed to catch her in time. She pushes herself away from Vin and extends her shaky hand to cup your face. Her hands were bony and her skin was rough. They trembled as they ran across your cheeks.
Yuki!
Her eyes are filled with yearning, hope, fear, sadness, and emotions you cannot explain. You instantly feel a tightness in your heart. The micro expressions and movement you practice countlessly with Vin surface all at once. Mom! Mom! Mr. Striker holds tightly onto you and cries out loud. You slowly begin to comfort her. Mom, you've lost so much weight. You aren't eating or sleeping well, are you? I asked the psychic to buy some of the favorite things you like to eat. Can you eat a bit, please? You open the backpack filled with the items that you and Vin had prepared beforehand as you speak to her. Mr. Striker likes to eat fruits and vegetables as well as various supplements.
またこんなにたくさん買ってきて。お母さんなら大丈夫だから。ユキは自分のために。
She suddenly stops and begins to cry again. You wipe away the tears on her face. Mom, why don't I prepare an apple for you? Don't you like apple with this texture? You pick up an apple and begin to slowly pare it in the same way Renee used to. Mr. Striker stares at your action and begins to cry again. She quickly dries her tears and stands up.
それより、 お腹空いたでしょ。お母さんうどん作ってくるから。
No, let me. Mr. Striker pressed down on your hand.
いいからユキは座ってて。
Her eyes are filled with nostalgia and sadness.
ユキがちっちゃい頃はよくお母さんの手打ちうどんをおいしいおいしいって笑いながら食べてくれたわよね。お母さんが手を悪くした頃だったかしら。ユキに手打ちうどんはもうダメだって言われちゃったのは、あれからお母さんユキの言いつけをちゃんと守ってたのよ。だから今日も乾麺のうどんで作ってあげるからね。
Vin approaches after the two of you finish eating the noodle.
申し訳ございませんが、僕のエネルギーは間もなく底をつきます。なのでそろそろ魔術を解除させていただきますね。
He gently draws a pentagram on your forehead. That's the signal to release you from your possession. I apologize, Mr. Riker.
いいんです、いいんですよ。
She frantically waves her hand.
もう十分あなた方は私を救ってくださいました。ユキに合わせてくれて本当にありがとうございました。それでこれほどのご恩、私はどのようにしてお返しすればよろしいでしょうか。
今回のことは何かの縁ですからお礼などはいりませんよ。それにユキさんの願いを叶えることは我々の修行の一環でもありますので、僕たちは今後ステラ市に1年間ほどとどまる予定です。なのでこの1年の間でよければまたユキさんを連れてお見舞いに上がりますよ。
それは本当ですか。1年間も私はまたユキに会えるのですか。
ええ、ただ僕も助手も霊との交信後は回復に時間を要します。なので次にお会いできるのはおよそ1週間後になりますが、どうかご了承ください。
私なら大丈夫ですよ。ちゃんと待っていますから。
Mr. Striker, make sure you take care of yourself. I'm sure it will make Renee happy and to see you healthier next time.
それはええ、もちろんです。
Mr. Striker holds tightly onto your hand for a long time. She is in a much better mood when the two of you leave her house. Yeah, because she had the motivation to leave, so... Okay, now I'm conflicted. Like, it's okay if it's like just once or twice, maybe. But for a year... Yeah... Yeah, that's why I'm conflicted. I don't mind white lie actually, but what I do is, oh my god, this is what conflicting me. Like this. Whatever, just right. After that, you and Vin talk about making Renee's handmade noodles for her next time. Vin said that making desserts was quite similar to making noodles and that he could perhaps be of some help. Hence, you started your own pursuit of learning how to make handmade noodle. This is the backstory of why you are learning to make handmade noodles with Vin. Vin's residence. But you got nowhere even after an hour of hard work.
これを手に当ててみて。少しは楽になると思うよ。
Thanks. Vin had taken out an ice pack from the freezer to help with the soreness in your hands. You reach for it and press it to your palms. You sighed as you compare the noodles you make to the one Vin made. It'd be nice if I was as smart and as capable as you.
さっきも言ったけれど、僕は抜け駆けをしたし、たくさん試行錯誤もしてきたんだ。
It's still amazing that you learn so quickly.
手打ちうどんを作るというあなたの提案に賛成したのは僕だ。それなりの責任は取らないといけない。あなたから目を離してしまうと、きっとまた無理をするまで頑張ってしまうだろうからね。だから、僕はあなたの力になれるように頑張って練習したんだ。そうでなければ、僕だってここまではできていないよ。それに僕が初めて作った時も、それは悲惨なものだったよ。
You don't need to comfort me like that, Dr. Richter. Vin looks at you and laughs helplessly.
少しは信じてくれてもいいのに。現に僕だって何とかあなたの前で失態を晒してきたはずだよ。
You didn't know how to respond. That was true, but it's very hard to put him and bad shape together. It felt as if they were worlds apart.
どうやらここは証拠を出さないといけないみたいだね。
Evidence? Vin hesitated, then takes out his phone. Oh, he recorded. There were a variety of photos of Vin's filled noodles in his phone. There were ones with a hole, ones that were uneven, and even ones that were stuck on the rolling pin. They all look extremely similar to the one you just made. You couldn't help but laugh out loud.
それでは先生、僕が提出した証拠は十分でしたか？
His low and soft voice resonates in your ear. You look up to see Vin slightly bending down towards you. His golden eyes are filled with overflowing tenderness. The two of you stand extremely close. You can feel his sweet breath brushing at your face. Your hand slips and the phone falls onto the table with a loud thud snapping you out of the trance he'd put you in. Thank you, Dr. Richter. I feel much better and much more confident now. Let's start over. I think I'll be able to properly make it after a couple more tries. Vin's soft chuckles make their way to your seemingly burning ears.
そうだね。頑張ろうか。けど焦る必要はないよ。僕がちゃんとそばについてるから。あなたならきっと大丈夫。僕が保証するよ。
Nice act. Laurie's residence. With Vin's help, you learn how to make handmade noodles before the second meeting with Mr. Stryker. Vin used the excuse of having to be next to you to maintain the possessed state and helps you in the kitchen as you make a bowl of noodles under the facade of Renee. However, after busying about in the kitchen, it's a little salty, the sides aren't done right, and it's overcooked. You panic as you taste the noodle. The stovetop and cookware in Mr. Stryker's place is nothing compared to what Vin has. You are new to noodle making, so using unfamiliar cookware has caused many issues. The noodles did not turn out right, and some parts of it were actually burnt. What?
作り直すだけの材料はないし、それに時間もない。とりあえずこのままでいこう。
But...
高村さんのカルテを見る限り、塩分の摂取制限などはなさそうだ。それにこの程度の差であれば、味を見る体の違いが原因かもしれないと、そう弁明もできる。
You didn't quite know what to say, only feeling your throat constrict slightly.
まずは先に味見してもらおう。 そこで何かあれば僕が臨機応変に対応するから。そんな心配そうな顔しなくてもいいよ。今はとにかく彼女が受け入れてくれることを願おう。
Okay. You were unsure but still brought out the noodles anyway. Mr. Striker ran over to take the noodles just as you entered the living room.
お母さんが持つよ。
She smiles as you hand the bowl of hot handmade noodles to her. She then sits down on the couch, mixes the noodle with her chopstick, and delicately takes her first bite. You stare at her, unsure of what to expect. The chopstick in her hand shakes as she finishes her first bite. She then begins to cry, big fat droplets of tears rolling down her cheeks. Mistress...
高村さん、大丈夫ですか？
Vin raises his voice to mask your near mistake and squeezes you gently on the shoulder. You quickly bite your words back and take the bowl from her trembling hands.
どこか具合でも悪いんですか？
いいえ、ただ嬉しくて驚かせちゃってごめんね。
Mistress Striker looks at you and caresses your hair. Her tears roll uncontrollable down her cheeks.
ユキが作ったうどんが食べられる、そんな日がまた来るなんて。お母さん、思ってもみなかったから。美味しい、すごく美味しいよ。
Don't cry, Mom. I'll be here frequently to make more noodles for you. Not just noodles, I'll try to make anything you want to eat, and we can go wherever you want to go. So let's try to make you better, alright? Tears continue to stream down her face as she looks at you, nodding continuously. She was crying so hard she could barely speak. Eventually, she choked out a broken sob.
ありがとう。ありがとうございます。
Mom, there's no need to thank me for anything. You wipe away the tears on Mistress Striker's face. She cries harder as she shakes her head. Even her shoulders were shaking. Mom, what's wrong? She covers her face with her hand, leans over and begins to cry even louder. Mom. You hug her, shooting Vin a helpless look. She observes Mr. Striker for a while and finally begins to speak.
高村さんは全部わかっていたんですね。
She nods her head but didn't stop crying. It took a while for her to finally calm down. That was when you realized that she'd known from the start that the two of you weren't sidekicks. She was even aware of what the scammers were trying to do before. Oh my god, that is the most heartbreaking thing ever. She was willing to be scammed. She wanted to believe anything that has to do with her daughter, even if it was a fake. I'm sorry, we lied to you as well.
騙されてませんよ。あなたはユキとそっくりだったもの。リンゴを剥いているところも、うどんを作ってくれるところもね。
The noodles are far from the ones Miss Rainey makes. Mistress likely looked at you with a kind smile.
実はあの子、ユキはですね、手打ちうどんを作るのだけは下手だったんですよ。塩を入れすぎたり、茹で時間を間違えたりね。でもそれが美味しかったんです。
She looks at the bowl of noodles as she talks about Renee's noodles disaster. Her eyes fill with tears again. Mr. Striker, if you're okay with it, how about I come over every week to talk and make noodles for you? Kiddies, I'm
本
okay
当
with
です
it.
か？本当に来てくれるのですか？
We promised we'd come back, didn't we? I'll try to make anything you want to eat and we can go wherever you want to go.
ありがとうございます。
Then let's try to make you better, alright? She nods repeatedly as her tears fall onto the back of her wrinkled hands that were holding tightly onto yours. After that, you and Finn said your farewells to Mistress Riker. On the way back, all you could think was how Mistress Riker stood at the front of her door waving at the two of you as you left. You came back to your senses after Vin called your name several times. I'm sorry, Dr. Richter. What were you saying?
さっき岩崎さんから連絡があってね。高村さんが騙し取られたお金だけど、全額しっかり彼女に返還されるそうだよ。
That sounds great. You feel better knowing that the scammers will be punished and that Mr. Striker's money can be returned. However, you couldn't stop thinking about how Mr. Striker must have felt when she tried to believe their lie. Dr. Richter, when did you know that Mr. Striker found out about us?
その可能性については最初から考えてたんだ。でも彼女があなたにお礼を言うまで確信は持てなかったよ。
Her husband and daughter died of illness. She has no one and nothing to blame. All she can do is accept it. It was too painful, so she grabbed onto anything she could to comfort herself, even if it's something toxic.
愛は人を盲目にさせ、我を失わせる。でも今、彼女はあなたが作ったうどんから自分の娘の料理を味わうことができた。だから彼女はもう独走にすがろうとは思わないはずだよ。
Finn's tone was warm, but your chest still feels tight. She looks at you with his calm eyes as serene as a pool of water.
少し付き合ってもらってもいいかな。そんな気分じゃないとは思うけど、断らないでくれると嬉しいかな。
Next act. You and Vin arrive at the horse ranch. He helps you up the horse and leads you underneath the starry sky. Outside the polo ground, Vin ties the rope of the horse outside a field of flowers. What are you be doing here, Dr. Richter?
そうだね。あなたを元気づけようと思って。
The blossoming flowers ascend from your feet to beyond the horizon. The earth bathed in the pure and majestic moonlight while swaying into the blissful breeze filled with the fragrance of flowers. Does Vin feel bad because he agreed to let you help, which ended up making you feel depressed? Thank you, Dr. Richter. I'm sorry I made you worry. I just lost control of my emotions earlier. I'm fine now. You regain control of your emotions and smiles at him.
忘れたかな。僕はあなたにとって頼りになる、親しみやすい友達でありたいんだ。それにあなたに関することなら何であろうと僕は迷惑だなんて思ったりしないから。だから僕の前では何も遠慮することはないよ。あなたが思ってることをそのまま僕に聞かせてくれていいんだ。その悩みや戸惑いも一人で抱え込もうとせず、もっと僕に話してくれないかな。
I'm just angry and sad. How can someone take advantage of someone else's pain like that? They must know that people like this have no way out, like a drowning person. They'll grab onto anything just for a little comfort. They take advantage of that and even turn their last show of hope into nothing but a toxic weed. I've seen many cases like this before, but no matter how many times I see it, it still angers me. Vin quietly listens and lets you finish before speaking.
世の中は諸行無常。あなたはこんな話を知ってるかい？善良な人々が若くして亡くなってしまうのは、その人を気に入った神様が呼び戻してしまうからだという話を。
Yeah, I've heard that before. Vin shakes his head with a smile on his face.
確かに綺麗な解釈だけど、残念ながらそれは間違いだと僕は思ってる。
Eh? Vin looks up towards the sky, toward the stars. The darkness of the night sets upon his face, slightly dimming the glow in his golden eyes.
この世界はあまりに不公平で、あらゆる闇を抱えている。不幸はいつだって場所や時を選ばず、人々は常に唐突な災禍に巻き込まれてきた。彼女のケースでさえもそんな氷山の一角に過ぎないんだ。なのにその一人すらも僕は癒すことができなかった。けどね、そんな僕にもまだできることはあったんだ。例えば彼女がすがろうとした独創をより美しく温かいものにすり替えて、例えばこの一本のマッチのように。
A warm and bright ember appears as Vin lights up a match. The small radiance from the match instantly reads the darkness of the endless night reflected in his eyes.
温かいストーブ、美味しそうな七面鳥、綺麗に飾られたクリスマスツリー、そして愛する家族。炎が消えるまでの間は、たとえそれが幻だとしても、誰かを幸せにすることができる。
Just as how it is in the little match girl. The match could not stop the long and dark night or the raging blizzard, neither could it change her fate. However, near the end of her life, she got a short period of happiness through the hallucinations caused by the match.
これはどうしようもないことを前にした僕たちのできる精一杯の努力だ。そう考えると精神科医と弁護士は似ているのかもしれないね。 僕は全ての患者さんを治癒してあげたいけど、なすすべがないケースも多い。だからといって試さないわけにはいかない。僕たちの仕事の本質はきっと誰かのために諦めないことにあるんじゃないかな。
Thank you, Dr. Richter. I really am better now.
俺なら必要ないよ。むしろ僕の方こそあなたにお詫びをしないといけない。僕は自分の行動に罪滅ぼしをしたかったんだ。
Make up for what you've done?
僕があなたを助手にしていなければ、あなたは事件を知ることもなく悲しむこともなかった。最初から分かっていたにもかかわらず、それでも僕は結局あなたを巻き込んでしまった。
Vin looks at the burn mark between his fingers.
人は別に見たいものだけを見て生きたっていいんだ。そして僕はそのための手段を、マッチのすり方を知っている。それに高村さんの余命は残りわずかだ。だから彼女がどんな道を選ぼうと、僕はその意志を尊重すると思う。けれどどんなに美しい夢であろうと、夢は夢なんだ。
A breeze passes by, slightly lifting his silver hair.
高村由紀さんが患っていた不治の病は、たったの数年で新しい治療法が確立されたんだ。医療の進歩があと少しでも早ければ、高村家だけではなく、もっと多くの家庭が救われていたはずなんだよ。
Caught in a trance, you notice a hint of jadedness in Vin's eyes. Dr. Richter?
失礼。少し感情的になってしまったね。話が脱線したけど、僕が言いたいのは、幻に溺れず辛い現実と向き合える人間が必要だということだよ。でも僕はあなたの気持ちを考えずに勝手に残酷な現実を見せてしまった。僕のことを嫌いになったかな。
Of course not. Dr. Richter, you said there are still things we can do even if we are helpless against the others. The desperate will hang on to anything thrown their way even if they are being taken advantage of. But they still do not deserve to be lied to and preyed upon even if they are desperate and at the end of their lives. Someone has to step forward and exchange the poison in their hands for a match. Some people might say that the two are not very different, but I know that they are completely different things. Besides, I think that matches shouldn't be the only things to warm the world. If we can work harder and move faster, maybe we can really save them all. So I am neither afraid to see the darkness, nor I am afraid to face the realities of the world. Only in darkness can you light the flames of hope. Only having known the truth do you know which way to go.
その通りだね。本当にあなたらしい答えだよ。
Garden. Wow, beautiful. Vin threatened home after sending her back. In the garden, the roses bloom freely under the moonlight. Vin gently caressed the soft rose petals, letting the touch lingers on his fingers.
彼女に内緒にしていたことがあるんだ。高村さんの家から出た後、この世の現実を教える以外に、僕はあの時彼女の弱い一面を暴こうとしたんだ。もしそんな弱さがあれば、僕が迷う彼女を導き、己の無力さを嘆く彼女を励まし、涙を流す彼女を慰めようと、僕は彼女にとって時 別な存在でありたいから。
Love makes us blind, makes us lose control.
この世界はあまりに不公平で、あらゆる闇を抱えている。不幸はいつだって場所や時を選ばず、人々は常に唐突な災禍に巻き込まれてきた。高村由紀さんが患っていた不治の病は、たったの数年で新しい治療法が確立されたんだ。医療の進歩があと少しでも早ければ、高村家だけではなく、もっと多くの家庭が救われていたはずなんだよ。話が脱線したけど、僕が言いたいのは、幻に溺れず、辛い現実と向き合える人間が必要だということだよ。
Vince's thin fingers slide down from the petals onto the thorns, letting them poke at his skin.
もしもいつか僕が世間に背く日が来たら、あなたは一体どんな決断をするんだろうね。それでもまだ僕の仲間でいてくれるんだろうか。
As against the roll.
こんばんは。いきなり電話をかけてすまなかったね。なんでもない。ただ今どうしてるのかなって気になっただけ。読書？どんな内容の本？ヨーロッパのお城。行ったことならあるよ。写真もたくさん撮ったしね。興味があるなら今度見に来るかい？なんでも？そんなことはない。知っていたのは偶然、本当に。どうしてかって、気になるなら教えるよ。今度の週末、僕の家で。いや、むしろ聞いてくれて嬉しいよ。こんな話があってね、そばに話し相手がいるという事実こそが財産なのだと。僕たちもかけがえのない関係、そんな友人でありたいね。その反応は同意見かな。それなら僕の大切な友達にお願いしていい？困ったことはすぐに話してほしい。それとあなたに関することもね。気にしないで。あなたをもっと知りたいだけ。いいかな。ありがとう。では週末、お互いの秘密をシェアし合おうね。
Okay, let's get all these aspects first. Okay, and then the evolutions. Oh my god, this is cool. The second one. Oh my. And the third one. Seriously, this taking it's like a very European thing to do. This is go to your rank like really like not medieval, like regency thing to do. Go to your shovel, take your horse, and then go to an open field. Oh my god. Okay, so what about the illustration archive? Again, Brewster. This fella just puts you one step closer to success. Oh, it's cute. I think, oh yes, there's Big Data Lab. There's plenty. Others, Magic Lab. Magic glove. Magic gloves are a tool that magicians use to allow them to ignite whatever they have in their hands. Davis. Magic has its risks. I will be careful when trying it. I'm not speaking from personal experience or anything. Lauren believes psychic. Psychics were perceived as supernatural beings combining imagination with worship. Historically, psychics were the only medium between the living and the dead. They would communicate with the dead through the use of magic rites, rituals, and spells. Practitioners could be divided into necromancy, witchcraft, and spiritualism. Okay, culture, style, academia, physics. Tesla coil. The Tesla coil was invented by Serbian-American scientist Nikola Tesla. Applying the resonance principle, the transformer is capable of producing artificial lightning. The Tesla coil can be controlled through audio signals, making the artificial lightning produce a sound while in the air. Not only could a skilled practitioner of Tesla coil produce artificial lightning that was beautiful and dazzling, but also perform a musical number. Davis, artificial lightning may be beautiful, but don't try it at home. It is easier to get electrocuted if you're not a professional. Plasma globe. The plasma globe is an interesting object with scientific properties. Its outer layer is made from high-strength glass with inert gas on the inside. When voltage is applied, the plasma forms extending from the center to the outer layer of glass, creating what looks like lightning. When placing your hand on the sphere, the lightning will follow the movement of the fingers. Psychology, placebo effect. A placebo is substance or treatment which is designed to have no therapeutic value. However, it can affect how patients perceive their conditions and encourage the body's chemical process for relieving pain and a few other symptoms. The placebo effect or placebo response can be understood as the patient's expectation, explained in an influential paper by Henry K. Beecher in 1955. Although patients didn't receive effective treatment, their symptoms still improved because they believed they were getting the treatment. Okay, I think that is all. So bye.